What's going on, Patriots? It's CGPATRIOT here, and this is Awake with Reason. Today is Monday, April 5th, and it's the day after Sunday. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend with Easter, and I hope you had some time to spend with your family and friends. If you haven't had a chance, you can check that message. I have a special message that I posted yesterday. It actually was from a subscriber who posted about I believe it was in the 17 karat freedom in regards to that video I had posted. And it's a beautiful message, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I figured if it was something that I needed to hear, for sure something I needed to hear. And it might be something that you guys need to hear, or somebody else that you know might need to hear, especially in these crazy times. So anyways, I wanted to get into an interesting topic, and this topic has to do with a few different things. Let's start with 17. So this would be a direct relationship to 17. And this would also be a direct relationship to Linwood. This would be in direct relationship to pretty much anybody and everybody who's ever accused a celebrity or political figure of pedophilia. And the interesting part is I'm going to walk you through the definition of defamation law. And it's something that's tossed around a lot, especially in the celebrity realm and even in the political realm. But there's not a single case that I could find that had to do specifically with pedophilia or somebody in the 17 movement or outside the 17 movement or any celebrity or politician ever going to court and suing somebody for calling them a pedophile. So that by itself should be interesting enough for people to start thinking, well, why? And I can tell you why, and I'll tell you why real quick. It's because they don't want this to go to the discovery phase of a case. And what would happen then in that discovery phase, we all know. Okay. So it seems to be the only thing they won't touch. They will not, especially when, this past year, when it's been just blatant all over the place. And somebody might ask, well, what about Twitter? Is that libel? And it is, actually. So I'll show you some of the law, some of the recent law articles about that, and let's get into it. All right, guys, let's get into the definition of defamation. Okay, so this is under fine law. So libel, slander, and defamation law, the basics. There's always a delicate balance between one person's right to freedom of speech and another's right to protect their good name. It is often difficult to know which personal remarks are proper and which run afoul of defamation law. The following provides an overview of defamation torts and defamation claims. Defamation law, the basics. The term defamation is an all-encompassing term that covers any statement that hurts someone's reputation. Okay, so covers any statement that hurts someone's reputation. Also called defamation of character. If the statement is made in writing and published, the defamation is called libel. If the hurtful statement is spoken, the statement is called slander. Defamation is considered to be a civil wrong or tort. A person that has suffered a defamation statement may sue the person that made the statement under defamation law, which would be called a defamation case. Okay. Defamation laws walk a fine line between the right to freedom of speech and the right of a person to avoid defamation. On one hand, a reasonable person should have free speech to talk about their experiences in a truthful manner without fear of a lawsuit if they say something mean but true about somebody else. On the other hand, people have a right to not have false statements made that will damage their reputation. This is the big one, right? Damage their reputation. And we're talking about celebrities and politicians, okay? So determining what is a statement of fact and what is a lie is also called absolute defense. And will end the case once it's proven. Then the winning side may sue for punitive damages depending on the types of defamation. Okay, now let's get into the elements of a defamation lawsuit. Defamation changes per state laws, but there are some acceptable standards that make laws similar no matter where you are or who you are suing. Generally, in order to win your lawsuit, you must show that these 5 different things. Someone made a statement. Number 2, the statement was published. Number 3, the statement caused you injury. Number 4, the statement was false, and the statement did not fall into a privileged category. Okay. So these terms and details are further below and defined. So basically what it's saying is that you have pretty much any avenue to ever sue somebody if it disrupts your career or disrupts your financial income or it disrupts your anything financially for the most part. And it can also be punitive, like damages for mental damages and stuff like that. So what's interesting is when you do a quick search of this in Google or DuckDuckGo, you'll find a bunch of suits. I mean, it's all over. Stars who sued for defamation. And it's interesting because celebrities, it says here, is when you do a search for, stars who sued for defamation. Actually, compose this search using a keyword term, the pedo keyword term, and a few others. I didn't come up with anything, but I did come up with a bunch of other ones, right? So, basically it says celebrities are used to daily criticism, but sometimes the press or someone will take it too far, unfounded libel claims. A defamation case can involve a lot of money, and some A-listers are willing to fight hard in libel legal battle. And then you're gonna, next question would be, well, if it's definitely not true that they are PEDOs, they're just not going to say anything, right? It's not worth their time. But then you look at the cases that they file for defamation, and a good one, for instance, is, I mean, for real, is this one. Alec Baldwin's defamation claims and parking spat. He got into, we'll go through it. Alec Baldwin's defamation claims against the man who accused the actor of hitting him during a spat over a parking spot can go forward to trial, a judge ruled. The Saturday Night Live star who routinely played Donald Trump during his presidency alleged that, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, WC lied and defamed him when he claimed Baldwin punched him in the face during the November 2018. Okay. So what's interesting is they'll do stuff like that. All right. And then if you get into some of these other ones, and this goes through, I guess it's a slideshow. Defamation case against the news, published stories the actor had acted appropriately with his female co-star. So that's the only one that you'll find, that I have found at least. And if you find any of them, please put them in the description. But you won't find anything that has to do specifically with pedophilia. Rebel Wilson won $4.7 million liable case against Bauer Media over articles that allegedly portrayed her as a serial liar and damaged her reputation. So they will sue a media company over articles that portray them as a serial liar, but they won't if it's about PEDO. Okay. Or even worse, what 17, what has been mentioned. Okay. Or claimed. And then the funny part is she had to pay it back. So that was the next one. All right. So, again, I can go on for a bunch of these things. Defamation suit for allegations against Dr. Luke's physical, emotional, verbal abuse. Included a claim that the producer had RAPED, fellow pop star Katy Perry, as revealed as part of a text messaging exchange between Keisha and Lady Gaga. So again, adult issues, and has nothing to do with children. You'll not see any of those. This guy he's bad news, man. I liked him before. Sean Penn sued Empire co-creator Lee Daniels for $10 million. Daniels compared Penn to Empire star Terrence Howard, as they both had domestic problems. I mean, seriously stupid stuff. Katie Holmes reached a settlement of $50 million when she sued the star for running an article calling her a drug addict. I think pedophilia is worse than drug addict. Okay. Period. And I think she might be a white hat, a good one. I'm not even getting to Tom Cruise. But anyways, Tom Cruise sued a porn actor for $10 million. The gay actor claimed he had an affair with Cruise, causing the end of his marriage to Nicole Kidman. All right. So you'll see it goes on and on and on and on. And then there's more of these stupid ones. And then more high profile defamation lawsuits. They're all over the place. I mean, literally all over the place. Okay. And then again, this is how stupid it can get, you know, the defamation over claims of parking spot spat. And then the interesting part is you'll see reverse of this. Okay. You'll see this one is where this guy, and let's go through it real quick. Posing as a counter blah, blah, blah. I can't say that on here. Expert in the Moore ambush, Cohen showed off that he built what he billed as the latest feat of a top flight Israel technology, a supposed pedophile detector. So you know what they do, right? And you've seen that. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a one with The Rock on Saturday Night Live. They'll completely make fun of it, but they're doing that on purpose. Okay. They're doing it to desensitize us, but also to make it like this funny, you know, thing that nobody's doing. So, you know, it's just funny. So they'll do this. So this guy actually ended up suing this guy, Borat. Okay. So that, and it's, I think it's still in litigation, but that's interesting. That happened the opposite way. A celebrity hit somebody else, and the other person was just like, dude, not a chance. Right. So, and then you've got WikiLeaks, you know, so he threatened to sue CNN over a commentator calling Assange a pedophile. Okay. So he even knows, you know, he's, for him to make that claim back at CNN and say it was defamation, it's huge. I mean, that basically, that shows you what side of the line they're on, because if it goes into discovery, folks, it's all over. It's all over. And that's what they don't want. So again, these are examples of, you know, people going after high profile people, going after the good ones, going after if they were ever called this. Okay. So it happens. It just happens to happen with the people that are willing to have discovery phase in a lawsuit. And none of these folks and celebrities and politicians are willing to do the discovery phase. They just aren't. They'll be torn apart in court. All right, here's another one. Elon Musk had told, it's similar to the last one. Elon Musk had told, had wrote a tweet about somebody saying he was a pedo guy. So here's where it gets interesting. Musk looks mostly passive, etc., but he's sticking to talking points. People say a lot of things on Twitter. These are his talking points, his defense. Unsworth's comments were unprovoked attack. He meant that he was a creepy guy, not literally a PEDO. So this is where it provides for me that was a specific, you know, the fact that it would be contained as such a harsh word to call somebody, and this person actually took, of all people, Musk to court over a tweet of this mention, says something, right? It says something, absolutely. And he had to go testify. Musk had to go in and testify under this. So last thing I want to get into on here is the Marjorie Taylor Greene. So she was sued, and this is one I found with the 17, right? So she was sued. Congressional candidate Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Georgian Republican and devotee of the far right 17 conspiracy theory, has been sued in federal court for defamation. But what was she sued for? So this is where it gets interesting, folks. The lawsuit was originally filed in early August by a mortgage company accusing former employee Melissa Rolfe of waging a media campaign that falsely blamed her June termination on the fact that Rolfe's stepson, Garrett Rolfe, a former member of the Atlanta Police Department, shot and killed Rayshard Brooks early this year. In other words, the fired stepmother accused her former employer of giving her the boot simply because she was related by marriage to the cop, etc. So again, it's interesting because the first thing they say about the 17, right, is baseless, right? And they always start with this. Let me blow this up. The conspiracy theory claims public figures like HRC, Tom Hanks, Oprah Winfrey, are Satan worshiping cannibalistic pedophiles. Okay. That's the first. That's, you see this top line everywhere, folks. Okay. All right, folks. So ask yourself a question. So if a word such as pedophilia or pedo or any of those terms is such a derogatory, has such a derogatory meaning behind it, that people are willing to sue Elon Musk in court over it, over a tweet. A regular person is willing to sue Elon Musk over a tweet calling him a pedo guy and bring it to court and go through discovery, etc. Then why aren't the celebrities and politicians who are filing these defamation cases on ridiculous things? You know, this is like every other day. It seems like every other day they're filing them, from what I've seen and the things I pulled up. And we know how petty they can be. And we know they're legalists, right? So they're always trying to get around that. So why wouldn't they make a public case of it? Why wouldn't they bring it to court? Why wouldn't there be a single defamation case on any topic other than the one we discussed with Majority Green, which had nothing to do with any of the 17 conspiracy stuff? Why hasn't there been a single defamation lawsuit brought against a 17 follower in history? And if you found one, please put that in the comments below. It's because they're not willing to put it out in public arena and defend it in the court of law. Period. All right, guys. So I just wanted to give you that information. I had it down in my notes. I've thought about this for a while. I brought it up on Twitter a few times. It was one of those things that kind of, as I scrolled through my notes today, I thought, you know, that's a pretty easy topic to go over, but it also opens the doors again to, you know, the ever that it's green that's going on right now, and a lot of things that are going to come to light. They're going to surprise people soon. So I figured this would be a good introduction to that, and to understand why there aren't more articles, and there aren't any articles, and there aren't any lawsuits against the 17 movement. So that being said, guys, you have a great Monday and stay frosty.